Tomorrow, I'm doing something I can never undo. Not impulsively, not emotionally, not without thinking it through. I've been thinking about this for years, avoiding it, postponing it, telling myself I'd do it later, telling myself I needed to wait for the right time, telling myself there were reasons to delay. But there's no right time. There's no perfect moment. There's just now or never. And I'm done waiting. Tomorrow I'm doing it. And once it's done, I can't take it back, can't change my mind, can't undo it. If you've ever known you needed to do something, but kept postponing it, comment tomorrow below. I'm recording this because I need to tell you what I'm doing, what I've decided, what's happening tomorrow, not to brag, not to look good, not to get praise, but because maybe it'll make you think about what you're postponing, what you're avoiding, what you know you should do but keep telling yourself you'll do later, because later never comes. Later is just another word for never, and I'm done with later. Tomorrow I'm giving away most of my wealth, not all of it. I'm not going to zero. I'm not becoming poor, but most of it, the vast majority. Specifically, $150 billion. $150 billion that I'll never spend, that I'll never need, that I'll never use. Going away. Tomorrow. Permanently. Irrevocably. To causes that might actually do something useful with it. To people who need it more than I do. To purposes that matter more than just sitting in accounts attached to my name. This isn't sudden. Isn't rash. Isn't emotional decision made in moment of crisis. This is years of realizing something. Years of understanding something. Years of knowing I needed to do this but avoiding it. Postponing it, finding reasons to delay, and finally accepting there's no good reason to delay, there's only fear, only inertia, only the difficulty of doing something irreversible. And those aren't good enough reasons. Not anymore. Not when time is running out to do things that matter. Let me tell you why. Why I'm giving away $150 billion. Why tomorrow? Why now? Why after years of avoiding this decision? Because the reasons matter. Because maybe they'll resonate with you. Maybe they'll make you think about what you're avoiding, what you're postponing, what you know you should do but keep delaying. I can't spend it. That's the simple truth. The math is obvious. I have had approximately $200 billion. Nobody can spend $200 billion. It's impossible. Even trying is absurd. Even spending $1 million a day, which is insane, which is more than anyone could reasonably spend, that's $365 million a year. It would take 548 years to spend $200 billion at $1 million a day. I'm 54. I don't have 548 years. I don't have decades. I have years. Maybe 20. Maybe 30 if I'm lucky. Maybe less. There's no scenario where I spend this money. No scenario where I use it. No scenario where it serves any purpose attached to my name except as number that grows while I ignore it. So what's the point? What's the purpose of having money I'll never spend? Money that just accumulates? Money that serves no function except making a number bigger? There is no point. There is no purpose. It's just accumulation for accumulation's sake. It's just wealth for the sake of being wealthy. It's meaningless. And I'm done with meaningless. It won't make me happy. I know this from experience. I've been wealthy for decades. Went from millions to billions. From billions to hundreds of billions. And the wealth didn't make me happier. Didn't make life better. Didn't solve problems that mattered. Didn't create fulfillment. Just created complexity. Created isolation. Created problems money can't solve. I've lived with extreme wealth long enough to know it doesn't do what people think it does. Doesn't create what people think it creates. Having 200 billion versus having 50 billion, there's no difference in quality of life. No difference in happiness. No difference in anything that matters. Just numbers. Just digits. Just meaningless accumulation. So why keep it? If it won't make me happier, if I can't spend it, if it serves no purpose, why keep accumulating? Why let it sit there growing while serving no function? There's no good answer. Just inertia. Just the default of keeping what you have. Just the difficulty of doing something different. None of those are good reasons. None of those justify keeping money that serves no purpose. It might do some good elsewhere. This is the real reason. The reason that matters. The reason that finally made me stop postponing. I can't spend this money. It won't make me happier. It serves no purpose attached to my name. But it could serve purposes elsewhere. Could help people who need help. Could fund causes that matter. Could do something useful instead of just accumulating. Could actually mean something instead of just being numbers in accounts I never look at. $150 billion could do a lot of good. Could fund research. Could help people. Could solve problems. Could make differences. Real differences. Meaningful differences. Differences that matter more than numbers attached to a wealthy person's name. And if the money is going to exist, if it's there regardless, shouldn't it do something useful? Shouldn't it serve some purpose? Shouldn't it mean something? That's why I'm doing this. Because the money serves no purpose in my name. Because it could serve purposes elsewhere. Because I've spent years knowing this and avoiding it. And I'm done avoiding it. Done postponing it. Done telling myself I'll do it later. There is no later. There's just now. And tomorrow I'm doing it. Why tomorrow specifically? Why not next year? Why not wait until I'm older? Why not plan it for after I die? Why tomorrow? Because I'm done waiting. Done postponing. Done finding reasons to delay. Because there is no right time. There's just time running out. And I'd rather do this while I'm alive. While I can see it. While it can mean something to me. While I can make the choice consciously instead of just leaving it to happen after I'm gone. I'm 54. I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm in the second half of life. Closer to the end than the beginning. And time does something when you realize that. When you understand viscerally that you have limited time, that years are running out, that postponing means maybe never, that later might not exist. Time creates urgency, creates clarity, creates understanding that you can't keep waiting for perfect moment because perfect moment doesn't exist. There's just moment you choose to act. And I'm choosing tomorrow. I've been thinking about this for years. Literally years. Knowing I should do it. Knowing it made sense. Knowing the money served no purpose. Knowing it could do good elsewhere. But avoiding the decision. Postponing the action. Telling myself I'd do it later. Finding reasons to wait. Reasons that seemed reasonable at the time but weren't really reasons. Just fear. Just inertia. Just difficulty of doing something irreversible. What finally changed? Nothing dramatic. Nothing crisis. Nothing external forcing action. Just realization. I'm never going to feel ready. I'm never going to feel like it's the perfect time. I'm never going to wake up one day and think today is obviously the day to give away $150 billion. That clarity doesn't come. That perfect moment doesn't arrive. You just have to choose. You just have to decide, I'm doing this, not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, not because it feels perfect, but because it's right, because it matters. Because postponing it serves no purpose except avoiding discomfort. So tomorrow. Not next year, not eventually, not after some milestone. Tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the first day I'm able to do it after making the decision. Because waiting longer serves no purpose. Because there's no reason to delay except fear and inertia, and those aren't good enough reasons anymore. Let me tell you what this means practically. What happens tomorrow? What changes? What this actually looks like. Because $150 billion going away, that's abstract. That's just numbers. Let me make it concrete. Tomorrow, I'll have approximately $50 billion instead of $200 billion. Still wealthy. Still absurdly wealthy. Still more money than I could ever spend. Still more than enough for anything I'd ever need. I'm not becoming poor. I'm not sacrificing security. I'm not giving away so much that I'll struggle. I'm going from absurd wealth to slightly less absurd wealth. From incomprehensible numbers to slightly smaller incomprehensible numbers. The $150 billion goes to causes I've chosen, medical research, education, climate, poverty alleviation, things that matter, things that could use the money, things that will do something useful with it instead of just letting it accumulate. It's not one thing, it's distributed, it's thought through, it's planned. This isn't emotional giving, this is structured donation to causes that will use it well. And it's irrevocable. That's the important part. That's what makes it real. That's what makes tomorrow the day everything changes. Once I do this, I can't take it back. Can't change my mind. Can't decide I want the money back. It's gone, permanently, forever. That's terrifying. That's what I've been avoiding for years. That permanence, that irreversibility, that loss of option to change my mind. But that's also what makes it meaningful. That's what makes it real choice instead of just intention. That's what makes tomorrow the day instead of just another day of thinking about it. Irreversibility creates reality, creates commitment, creates actual change instead of just contemplating change. Let me be honest about what I'm losing, because I am losing something, even if it's something I never used, even if it's something that served no purpose. I'm losing it. And that loss is real. That loss matters. That loss is what makes this hard. I'm losing optionality. That's what $150 billion represented. Not spending money, not useful money, but options, the option to do anything, the option to change my mind, the option to use it if I ever decided I wanted to, even though I never would, even though the options were theoretical, they existed, and tomorrow they won't. That's loss. That's what makes this irreversible. That's what makes this scary. I'm losing security blanket, not real security. I'll still have 50 billion, still more than enough, still secure. But the psychological security of enormous wealth, the feeling of having so much that nothing could ever threaten you, that's going away. And even though it was always illusion, even though security comes from having enough, not from having everything, losing it feels like loss, feels like vulnerability, feels like giving up protection I didn't know I was relying on. I'm losing status symbol. Wealth is status. Extreme wealth is extreme status. I was one of the wealthiest people in the world. That meant something. That gave me position. That gave me respect or fear or attention or whatever, and I'm choosing to give that up, to move down the list, to be less wealthy, to have less of the things society uses to measure success. That's loss too. Loss of status, loss of position, loss of symbol that said this person succeeded maximally. Those losses are real, even if what I'm losing served no real purpose. Even if I never used it, even if it was meaningless. Loss is loss. And part of why I've avoided this for years is avoiding that loss, avoiding that feeling, avoiding the discomfort of giving up something even when you know you should give it up. But here's what I'm gaining. Here's what makes this worth it. Here's what finally made me stop avoiding and start acting, because I'm not just losing, I'm also gaining. And what I'm gaining matters more than what I'm losing. I'm gaining meaning. That 150 billion sitting in my name, it meant nothing. It was just numbers, just accumulation, just wealth for wealth's sake. But tomorrow it'll mean something. It'll fund research that matters. It'll help people who need help. It'll serve purposes that have actual value. It'll transition from meaningless numbers to meaningful action. That's gain. That's what I'm getting that I didn't have before. Meaning, purpose, value, not for me, but in the world. And that matters. I'm gaining freedom. Freedom from wealth that served no purpose. Freedom from accumulation that meant nothing. Freedom from carrying around $150 billion that I never used and never would use. That's weight. Even though it doesn't feel like weight, even though it's just numbers, it's weight, it's burden, it's thing I have to carry around. And tomorrow I won't. Tomorrow it'll be gone. Tomorrow I'll be free of it. And that freedom is worth the loss. I'm gaining alignment between what I believe and how I live. I believe wealth beyond what you can use serves no purpose. I believe money should do something useful. I believe accumulation for accumulation's sake is meaningless. But I've been living in contradiction, believing those things while keeping $200 billion, saying those things while doing nothing about it, Tomorrow that contradiction ends. Tomorrow my life aligns with my beliefs. Tomorrow what I do matches what I say. And that alignment, that integrity, that's worth the loss. I'm gaining the ability to look myself in the mirror, to know I did something hard, something that mattered, something I'd been avoiding for years. To know that when I realized I should do something, I actually did it instead of just thinking about it forever. To know that I chose meaning over accumulation, chose purpose over status, chose action over inertia. That self-respect, that's worth everything I'm losing. You're probably not giving away $150 billion tomorrow, probably don't have $150 billion to give away, probably aren't in my situation at all. So why does this matter for you? Why am I telling you this? What does my decision have to do with your life? Because you're probably postponing something too, probably avoiding something you know you should do, probably telling yourself you'll do it later, probably finding reasons to delay that seem reasonable but aren't really reasons. Just fear, just inertia, just difficulty of doing something hard or irreversible or uncomfortable, and you keep postponing, keep avoiding, keep telling yourself later, just like I did for years with this decision. Maybe it's not money, maybe it's relationship you need to fix, maybe it's apology you need to make, maybe it's change you need to make in how you live, maybe it's risk you need to take, maybe it's truth you need to tell, maybe it's dream you need to pursue, maybe it's thing you need to let go of. Whatever it is, if you're reading this and something came to mind, something you've been avoiding, something you know you should do but keep postponing, that's what this is about. That's why this matters for you. You're waiting for right time, for perfect moment, for when you feel ready, for when circumstances align, for when it's easier, for when you're certain, for when fear goes away, for when it stops being hard. You're waiting for conditions that will never exist, because right time doesn't come. Perfect moment doesn't arrive. You never feel ready. Circumstances never align perfectly. It never gets easier. You never become certain. Fear never fully goes away. It never stops being hard. You just have to choose. Despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite difficulty, despite imperfect timing, you just have to decide, I'm doing this. Not because it's easy, not because I'm ready, not because it's perfect time, but because it matters. Because postponing serves no purpose. Because later is just another word for never. Because time is running out and you don't want to reach the end having never done the thing you knew you should do. Share this if you've been postponing something that matters. Comment tomorrow and tell me what you're finally going to do. Subscribe for more truth about making hard choices and doing things that matter instead of just thinking about them forever.